Infibranches Technologies Limited, a Nigerian fintech firm, today announced a $2 million funding deal with Olusola, an impact investment company backed by oil major Shell, to help bridge the energy distribution gap in underserved rural areas of Nigeria. Olusola Owoyemi, CEO of the company, joins me to discuss the deal. Olusola, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to have you on the show today. Let's get right to it. Talk to us, help us understand why Infibranches has partnered with Olusola, and give us an overview of what to expect in terms of how this investment is going to be deployed.
All right, thank you for having me. So this investment, this partnership with Olusola was actually born out of the need to increase energy access within the sector, at the same time to solve the payment and distribution problem within the renewable energy sector as well. So what we're positioned to do as Infibranches is to use our network and technology to drive access to people within the rural and peri-urban areas, with special focus on the Niger Delta region. And we're doing this with our flagship product called Infibranches, which is actually giving power to agents within the communities to drive, to make payments easy and also drive convenience across the sector.
Just a quick, I'd like you to just help us understand the scale of the energy supply gap in rural Nigeria. Help us understand the state it's in at the moment and just the scale that we're dealing with.
Okay, so as at today, so we have over 80 million Nigerians still still excluded when it comes to the energy access, that still don't have access to reliable energy. And even within Niger Delta, which is one of our special focus as well, we have just only 34% of them having access to reliable energy power. So as of today, we have over 120 million Nigerians that still enjoy more than 4 hours of reliable energy source. And what we're basically doing is actually seeing how we can help bridge that gap and bring all of these people on board and get them to have access to energy and also be able to become more productive.
Now, I'd like us to go into specifics in terms of how this this investment will be deployed. What is going to be the first step as soon as you receive the fund?
Yeah, so the first step for us is to actually improve on our existing infrastructure. So we already built a system that works, so basically scale it up. So we want to drive customer acquisition, speed up adoption, also try to deepen the obsession of the customers with our products within those rural and communities. Also, we're trying to increase the number of agents in those locations as well, so that within 5 minutes from every individual, we are hoping to be able to put an agent location out there such that you can actually pay for renewable energy services or either buy a new solar device from any of the SHS companies, while also working with the mini grids as well to help with payment collection. So all of these are things we put in place to actually drive access within the sector.
Speaking about driving access, I know that Infibranches, you work a lot with solar companies in the solar energy business. Talk to us about the kind of impact that these companies are making. We know that Nigeria, while we're still sorting out our electricity issues, we know that, of course, the government does recognize the role renewable energy plays and should play in our energy mix, and we're seeing some investment in that area. But for these companies that you deal with, talk to us about the kind of their size, talk to us about the kind of impact they're making, and perhaps also the size of the market.
Okay, so for those people we've partnered with, so we have people creating mini grids in locations where they can serve over 1,000 households. We have people creating mini grids in areas where we can serve about 5,000 households. And at the same time, we also have people deploying their solar home systems to locations where they are able to actually sell the devices. And what we have been able to do is to reduce the logistic cost and cost of distributing these services to those locations in those rural areas. And those are some of the key things that we're trying to do in terms of the market. So we're also working with quite a number of other partners to drive awareness and create more trainings within those locations so we can actually increase the market size. Because as of today, we have less than 5% penetration across the renewable energy sector, and we're hoping to help increase that with the partnership with Olusola.
Now, when working on the ground, because I imagine, in rural areas, obviously there are infrastructure challenges, even around, accessing some areas. Talk to us about the typical challenges that you hear about when you're in dealing with some of the solar companies that you deal with. What are those challenges that they talk to you about, and how are they getting around them?
So one key problem with some of the solar companies that we work with is the distribution. So some of these guys, they are majorly in the cities, and the cost of distributing to those local areas is very high. So basically, erodes all their profits. And so at the same time, when they sell their devices, because of the cost of those equipments, it's difficult for customers to make those payments at once. So they need to break the payment. So how do they collect the subsequent payments? So that's where the problem comes in. And at Infibranches, we've been able to solve that such that once we make the initial payment, even from a platform or from the solar provider, we're able to help you with the subsequent payment collection so that you always keep your customers happy, and they always have access to energy as well at every point in time.
Now, from an investment point of view, perhaps a foreign investment perspective, how attractive is the Nigerian energy market, renewable energy market, for either domestic or but particularly foreign investment to come? You've talked about the size of the market and the potential, but what are your thoughts on that?
All right, so I think the market is still growing. So there's a lot of potential, a lot of areas to recover. Like I mentioned earlier, so just 5% penetration at the moment. So there's still a lot of needs to be covered, and we have over 80 million Nigerians that also needs to be served with this service as well. So this makes it very attractive from my own point of view, and I think both local and foreign investors should be looking into this to actually help impact the lives of people within those communities and also give wings to their dreams.
What about the regulatory environment and perhaps input from the government? How do you maneuver that? Would you say that there are policies that are supportive of the environment or the business that you do, or what would you like to see the government do going forward?
So I think the government is already in support of what we're currently doing. So from the recent announcement to actually power 25 million households in the next 3 to 5 years, which is actually in line with our own mandate as well. So I think the regulatory system is also in support and also working in partnership with us. So we're currently partnering with a couple of them as well to also drive some of the transactions and activities and help them enhance how these devices and this distribution will happen in the next 3 to 4 years.